I am 74 years old. I have worked with my hands every day of my life. I have built barns. I have plowed fields behind horses. I have carried lumber, split wood, and knelt on stone floors since I was old enough to hold a hammer. My knees do not hurt. My shoulders do not ache. My hands close around a tool the same way they did when I was 25. And every morning for as long as I can remember, I drink the same thing my mother drank, and her mother before her. A cup of broth made from bones. It costs me less than $3 a week. I do not take pills. I do not see a surgeon. And until someone showed me what Americans spend on joint pain every year, I did not understand why anyone would need to. After the last video, many of you asked about health. You said your knees hurt, your hips ache. Your doctor told you the cartilage is gone, and the only option is surgery. I want to talk about that, because the cartilage is not gone. Your body can rebuild it. It just needs the raw material. Here is the number. The U.S. orthopedics market was valued at $59.2 billion in 2024. Over 700,000 knee replacements are performed every year in America. The average cost of a single knee replacement is $30,000. And the pills your doctor gives you to manage the pain until surgery, the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, the ibuprofen, the naproxen, those generate billions more in annual revenue. Long-term use of those drugs causes gastrointestinal bleeding, liver damage, and kidney failure. Your doctor knows this. The warning is printed on the bottle. He prescribes them anyway because the alternative is a $3 cup of broth that cannot be patented, cannot be manufactured by a pharmaceutical company, and does not require a surgeon, an operating room, or a $30,000 bill. Let me tell you what is in this cup. When you simmer animal bones in water for 24 to 48 hours, the heat breaks down the connective tissue. Collagen, the protein that holds your joints together, dissolves into the liquid. So do the amino acids glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. So do the minerals calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus. And so does a compound called glucosamine, the same compound they sell you in a bottle at the pharmacy for $40 a month. Collagen is not a supplement. It is the most abundant protein in your body. It makes up 60% of your cartilage. That is the cushion between your bones, the thing your doctor says is gone. When you consume collagen, your body breaks it down into amino acids and peptides. Those peptides travel through your bloodstream and accumulate in cartilage, skin, and bone tissue. A clinical trial at Penn State University, published in the journal Current Medical Research and Opinion, gave athletes 10 grams of collagen daily for 24 weeks. The athletes who received collagen showed significant improvement in joint pain compared to placebo. That was the first clinical trial to show that result. The researchers concluded that collagen supplementation can reduce joint pain and may reduce the risk of joint deterioration. The Arthritis Foundation, not a folk medicine group, not an alternative health website, the Arthritis Foundation has reviewed the evidence and acknowledges that collagen supplements show modestly positive results for joint pain. The Cleveland Clinic, one of the most respected hospitals in America, states that collagen and bone broth can help reduce joint pain by protecting tendons and ligaments. We did not need a clinical trial to know this. We watched it work for 300 years. In our community, bone broth is not a health trend. It is not a superfood. It is Tuesday. It is what my wife makes every week from the bones left over after we butcher a chicken, a cow, or a pig. Nothing is wasted. The bones go into a pot with water and a splash of apple cider vinegar. The vinegar is important. It is acidic enough to pull the minerals and collagen out of the bones more efficiently. Without the vinegar, you get broth. With it, you get medicine. The pot simmers on the wood stove for 24 to 48 hours. When it is done, the liquid is thick. It gels when it cools. That gel is collagen. If your broth does not gel, you did not cook it long enough, or you did not use enough bones. The gel is the proof. It means the collagen made it into the liquid. That is what you drink. Every civilization that raised animals arrived at this same answer. The Chinese have used bone broth as a medicinal food for over 2,500 years. Traditional Chinese medicine prescribes it specifically for joint pain, bone weakness, and digestive repair. The Greeks used bone broth as a restorative food for the sick. Hippocrates, the father of Western medicine, recommended it. Jewish families have made chicken broth for centuries, and the medical community has studied its anti-inflammatory properties extensively. Korean seolongtang, a beef bone soup simmered for 12 to 24 hours, has been a staple for over 1,000 years. Every culture that paid attention to what happened when bones met water arrived at the same answer. The joints that drink it last. The joints that do not get replaced. Now think about what the modern system offers instead. Your doctor diagnoses osteoarthritis. He tells you the cartilage is wearing down. He prescribes ibuprofen. You take it every day for years. The ibuprofen reduces inflammation, but it does not rebuild cartilage. It manages the symptom. It does not address the cause. And while it manages the symptom, it damages your stomach lining, stresses your kidneys, and increases your risk of heart attack with long-term use. The FDA issued a warning in 2015, strengthening the cardiovascular risk label on all NSAIDs except aspirin. When the pills stop working, your doctor refers you to an orthopedic surgeon. The surgeon recommends a knee replacement. The surgery costs $30,000. The recovery takes months. The implant lasts 15 to 20 years, and then you may need another one. Zimmer Biomet, Stryker, Johnson & Johnson. These are the companies that make the implants. They generated billions in revenue in 2024. Every knee that gets replaced is a customer. Every knee that stays healthy is a sale that never happens. A cup of bone broth costs less than $1 to make at home. The bones are free, or nearly free, from any butcher. A bottle of apple cider vinegar costs $3 and lasts a month. The pot is already on your stove. There is no patent. There is no prescription. There is no monthly bill, and there is no surgeon scheduling your next appointment. Not banned, not disproven, just not profitable for the people who write your prescriptions. Now, if you already own a house and you are thinking you do not know how to make this, stay with me, because I'm going to tell you exactly how I make it, the same way my mother taught me. Get bones. Chicken carcasses, beef marrow bones, pork knuckles, any of them work. If you eat meat, you already throw these away. Stop throwing them away. If you do not have your own, go to any butcher and ask for soup bones. Most will give them to you for free or charge $1 or $2 per pound. Put them in your largest pot. Cover them with cold water. Add 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar per gallon of water. Let the pot sit for 30 minutes before turning on the heat. The vinegar begins pulling minerals from the bones even before the water heats up. Bring it to a boil. Reduce to a low simmer. For chicken bones, simmer 24 hours. For beef or pork bones, simmer 48 hours. The longer you simmer, the more collagen and minerals dissolve into the liquid. If you are using a wood stove the way we do, the stove is already burning. The broth costs you nothing extra. It rides the same fire that heats your house. When it is done, strain the liquid through a fine mesh. Discard the bones. Let the broth cool. If it gels in the refrigerator, you did it right. That gel is concentrated collagen. Drink 1 cup a day. Heat it like tea. Season with salt if you want. Some of our families add a pinch of turmeric, which has its own anti-inflammatory properties documented in dozens of studies. But the broth alone is enough. Everything I have covered across this channel, the stove, the fossil powder, the water heater, the insulation, and now this, is available in one place, the Amish home system. Link in the description. But stay here, because this last part is what I want you to understand more than anything else. Here is what I think about when I watch Americans struggle with joint pain. Your body is not broken. It is starving. You stopped giving it the raw material it needs to maintain itself. Your grandparents made bone broth every week. Your great-grandparents made it every day. They did not have knee replacements because they did not need them. Their joints had collagen. Their joints had blasine, proline, glucosamine. Not from a bottle, from a pot. Somewhere between your grandmother's kitchen and your kitchen, someone convinced you that food could not be medicine, that healing required a prescription, a specialist, and a bill. A $59 billion orthopedic industry depends on your joints failing. A pharmaceutical industry depends on you managing the pain instead of fixing the cause. Neither of them will ever tell you to drink bone broth, because bone broth costs $3 and a knee replacement costs $30,000. The bones are still at the butcher. The vinegar is still on the shelf. The pot is still on your stove. And your cartilage is still capable of rebuilding itself if you give it what it needs. We have given it what it needs for 300 years. Our knees work. That is not a coincidence. That is Tuesday. Drop your state in the comments and tell me what you spend on joint pain every year. Pills, creams, doctor visits, injections, surgery. I want to hear the number. And if your grandmother ever made bone broth and you remember the smell of it in her kitchen, tell me that story. Because that smell is this recipe. She already knew. If you are the kind of person who believes that real practical knowledge has been quietly pushed aside to protect someone else's profit, you already know what to do next. Hit subscribe. Not for me, for what comes next. Because in the next video, I am going to show you what we do with wood ash that eliminates the need for one of the most expensive products in your bathroom, and the company memo from 1993 that proves the manufacturer knew their product was unnecessary the entire time. You do not want to miss that.